Hare Krishna, everyone. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to our little production that we have going on here. We are broadcasting from ISKCON Mayapur with special thanks to the studio for Mayapur TV. And we are speaking today about Mayapur Academy. Today we will get into Mayapur Academy, which is one of our foundational institutions here in Sridhar Mayapur. And we are joined with us by our special guests. We have here Ananda Leela Mataji, we have Hari Balabi Mataji, we have Bimala Prasad Prabhu, and this was, I mean, if I may, is this Jananivasa Prabhu's like brainchild, so to speak? He put it all together?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice. I didn't know that.
This school is his inspiration, so yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. And you, I believe you manage, do you lead the whole operation? Do you lead the charge? How does that?
Yeah, to some capacity, yes.
Okay. To some, you are the dean?
Yes.
The dean. So we have dean. So what is a dean actually? What does a dean do?
Well, making sure that the courses, the curriculum that's running, it's actually following the syllabus, and also how the courses are running, and basically managing, and also I'm also teaching a few units.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
What do you teach? I mean, we'll get back around to it as we get to the teach, but what do you teach?
We have different units. The whole course is divided section into different units. So I teach temple worship, festivals, and cooking. Yeah.
Now, if I understand correctly, that Mayapur Academy, as a püjäri worship institution, is separate from the university that they have as well, where they teach Bhakti Shastri and all that. That's
that's
that work?
Mayapur Institute.
That's Mayapur Institute. Okay.
Where they teach Bhakti courses.
Okay.
And ours is Mayapur Academy, where we are teaching, of course, Shastrikal courses, but more on the devotional side, where we have practical aspects to it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's more philosophical, and then at Mayapur Academy you have more of a devotional skills.
Yes.
Okay, that's really cool. That's very interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about Mayapur Academy as an institute? Where is it? What are the students involved? What do I know? Where do I go if I wanted to know more about Mayapur Academy?
We are located in ISKCON Mayapur campus.
Okay.
On Chaitanya Bhavan, second floor. I mean, to get into more detailed. And we run different courses. We have a longer one course, like a 4-month diploma. Then we have certain language courses, like in different medium, like Bangla and Hindi. Yeah.
You do language courses as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You can
The
go
same thing.
Learn your Bengali, folks. If you're coming to Mayapur, learn some Bengali while you're at it. You know, that's wonderful. And here we have our teachers who are also part of this. I feel that the course that I hear the most from all of my friends and people who have gone to Mayapur Academy is the deity worship course, especially the turban making. I wanted to bring in Kurma Chaitanya Prabhu here. How do you feel being the most popular teacher in Mayapur Academy?
I didn't even know I was, so it's news to me.
I can imagine a lot of people I hear, that one of the things that they gun for a lot is learning how to do the turbans. Can you tell us a little bit about what courses you teach and how long you've been in Mayapur Academy? Just a little bit.
Well, I can give you a bit of history.
Please.
The first time I was asked to teach, it was during the festival. We had like a 2-day course, and it was over where the next to the boys' ashram, there was a building there, a library building.
Yes.
So I think maybe maximum 8 or 9 people attended the class. So it's very, very, and we didn't really have any facilities whatsoever. So I helped model this clay head. We got an artist to do it. Now that doesn't look like Krishna, and I was like, helping to model this clay, and it weighs like 3 or 4 kilos, so very impractical. But on top of that, there was no structure to the course at all. It was like, will you do it? Yes, I will.
This was just like
This was also, who was there? There was Indra was there as well. So together and I think you can find that on YouTube. So after the course, it was a very just a one-day affair, and afterwards some devotees I know quite well approached me and said, "No, you can do better than that."
Just became up and up and up.
So I was thinking, yeah, they're right. I can do it better. So after that, I really tried to bring the course up to the standard, and it still has a long way to go. There's still a lot more that we can do to improve. So as with anything that you do, you always try to improve it and make it better. So
what could you improve? You've been doing this seva for so many years, and of course they say that service to Krishna always improves and improves, but you've been so established as in your, you would say your art, but rather your seva. What do you feel is left to explore? I mean, if I may ask, it's not just turban making that you do, right? There's another course, or what are the range of courses that you teach?
It's basically the turbans and the dressing. They go together.
They go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not separate courses. Except during the festival time, where it's not a certified course. They're not going to get a piece of paper at the end of the course.
Oh, man.
But in the certified courses, they have to learn how to put the dresses on the deities as well as making the turbans. And then they are assessed that they can actually dress within a fixed amount of time.
Ooh, you don't want to see my deities? I'll get fails on all subjects. But I put them on with a lot of love. And maybe a big flower to cover up any mistakes or something.
Yeah.
So my question to you again, what do you feel you have left to explore or learn from somebody as expert as you in your subject on the courses?
Well, I wish I was expert. I think people that are very expert, people that are very expert don't even think about what they're doing. They just simply do it without thinking. They're not necessarily the best teachers because they don't know why they're doing it. Which is why I think I have a slight advantage, because my training wasn't in art. My training at college was in science and mathematics, which gave me more of an analytical approach.
Okay.
Which is the approach I took to teaching the dressing. And yes, if I reach the level of
Siddha.
Yeah.
Brahma Jyoti.
Exactly.
Brahma Bhuta.
Then I could know exactly what I'm doing, rather than theoretically know what I'm doing.
Thank you very much for that, Prabhu. I do remember one time, it was the only class I had ever happened to attend from you, and you had drawn a little truck on the whiteboard. I'll never forget that class, because probably the only time we had contact. You drew a little truck on the board, and you said, "Oh, how do we make movement?" I don't know. What a question to ask. I just wanted to start putting the jewels on the turbans or whatever, I said,
Put some gas in the tank.
You're like, make movement. I said, what does that mean? It's a picture on a whiteboard, Movement. And I was thinking about it, and I don't know. And he drew 3 lines at the back of the truck. And the truck was moving. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's the only thing I remembered. And then when it got to the practical skills of doing the pleats for the turbans, I fell apart. I couldn't do it. I can't do turbans.
Then
It's not a skill I have.
that makes me a bad teacher then.
No, I'm just a bad student. It's all that pleating.
There's no such thing as a bad student.
The only pleats I have time for are the ones on Madhuri. That's it. It's so tiny. Krishna's head is so tiny sometimes. It's so delicate. Everything falls apart. So yeah, I'll just Manasika Seva from now on. I will end off with one final question to you, Prabhu. For those in the audience who are looking at our show and are interested in Mayapur Academy, and especially if we just touched a little bit lightly on your course, what's a turban or dressmaking or dressing tip that you can give to our audience that they can take back into their day-to-day lives without having had all of that experience, the wealth of experience that you have? What's a little tip that you can give for people as they worship their Krishnas and Radharani forms in their homes?
A single tip?
A single tip, just to cue them in, what would you say is like a really important tip that everyone should have in their pocket when they dress their deities?
Well, I think the most important tip is not to stick pins into Krishna.
Ooh.
So, it doesn't matter, ultimately, it doesn't matter what the turban looks like. The turban could look fabulous, but if you've stuck pins into Krishna's head, and that doesn't matter. Better to have just a simple crown.
Because Krishna's a person, he's there,
Krishna's
right?
a person, exactly.
Not
Krishna,
a doll.
Exactly.
That's actually a wonderful tip, actually. I'm so low, I'm thinking like, make sure you pair your reds with your blues, and it's like, Prabhu, don't poke Krishna with the needle. That's very good. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, we've covered one part of the course, which everyone goes to for turbans and dresses. I would like to move on to our next speaker, Hari Vallabhi Maharaji. If you can take a few moments to just introduce yourself and a little bit of your experience in Mayapur Academy, that'd be great.
Okay, I'm Hari. Put me on spot right
No
here.
pressure. No pressure.
I'm Hari Vallabhi Devidasi.
Yes, Mata.
Before I got on to teaching, I was kind of co-administrating Mayapur Academy. For teaching, I teach jewelry making and
Jewelry making.
Tulsi care and worship.
That's interesting. Please, I'm fascinated. I feel like I want to go take the course right now. But please, go ahead, Mata. Go ahead.
What do you want to know about it?
Well, I guess, first off, how long have you been doing this teaching seva for at Mayapur Academy?
Well, I've been teaching for past 3 years.
Okay.
Before that, I was assisting Mataji in teaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful. And how did jewelry making and Tulsi Seva come about? Did you start off with that, or was it something developed that you brought in?
Jewelry making I have been doing for past 15 to 20 years.
Wow.
It's just not teaching it. And then when I joined Mayapur Academy, that was the first time that I realized that there could be a formal teaching for something like jewelry making, and which I learned from Anandina Mataji. And I took over from that, and it is very fulfilling experience because unlike a lot of artistic subjects, jewelry making is something which a person who's not artistic can also learn, because it is more about logical and mathematical steps to it.
Interesting. I
Into
feel you guys would get
structures.
along on that point, Guru Prabhu and yourself. What does that mean? So, if I can just ask a very basic question, what is jewelry making as the course there? Like, do you get silver and gold and then just make it, or wire work, or what is that?
And it's simply just making jewelry with beads and thread.
Okay,
So-
necklaces.
Necklaces or
Earrings.
chokers, different structures can be
Okay.
made very beautifully with beads. Actually, I mean, it'll be really surprising the sort of things that
Wait
we
a
can
minute,
make.
wait a
with
minute. I'm
just
shocked
beads.
here. I'm shocked. There's no rubies, no emeralds, no diamonds.
You could use
Where's
it.
the gold and the silver?
Actually, we can't use real gold and silver on the deities here.
We
Then
wish
it'll be
we
like-
could.
I heard that was a thing, right? Like, you're not allowed to use silver and gold on deities because of thieves, or is it an actual Vedic thing?
No, it's thieves.
It's thieves. It's thieves.
Yes.
Oh.
We try to use the best materials though, like
Okay.
we get crystals and glass beads and wooden beads. They're all different kind of beads. And
Okay.
they're these very beautiful Japanese gold and silver beads which really shine
Wow.
and are long lasting. So we can use all that. And also this course goes hand in hand with the dressmaking, because the jewelry that they make are then used during the dressmaking unit.
For
And
pairing.
then for pairing.
I see.
So then they learn to make jewelry, and then they learn how to dress them with those jewelry.
I
So-
see. And when you do the course, are these jewelries offered to the deities and given, or people get to take them back to their own home for their own deities? How does that work?
They're generally kept in Mayapur Academy.
Okay.
We provide them all the materials, the beads
Okay.
and
And
everything.
they just learn.
They learn how to do it. They leave it at the academy, but a lot of students then go back to their temples, and they interesting that earlier, before I started teaching, I thought jewelry making was something only Matajis would like to do. But
I would
it
do
was-
that in a heartbeat. I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I
And a lot of
surprised
my
when I started
generation would
teaching.
too. I think it's just opening up the skill. Everyone wants to try everything, want to learn everything. They
Yes.
want to get into it. It's really cool. I remember doing one of the courses with Rasheshwari Mataji. She was doing with a cooking course at that point with the Mayapur Academy. That was so fun. So many people wanted to learn how to cook for their deities, and usually it can be seen as a very feminine sort of, this is for Matajis, but it's just too much fun learning about a new subject. To be like, sorry, I would do jewelry in a heartbeat. That's very interesting. Any reflections on your teaching as a jewelry teacher? Anything to share?
What I really realized is
Advise your students to look out for.
the first thing that we look out for obviously is the outfit that is going
Okay.
to go on, the colors that are there in the outfit. So we try to match or contrast that colors. Like if the outfit is completely pink, then you don't want to have a pink jewelry that just merges with their outfit. You want something that will probably contrast. If there's a bit of silver in the outfit or gold in the outfit, you try to get that out, or some white, So it just contrasts. Color scheme is something that is taught throughout our course in dressmaking or in deity dressing. So that color scheme has to come out in the jewelry as well. And obviously you want to use the best of the materials, because you'll be making that jewelry for 4 to 5 hours, maybe one little necklace, and you don't want it to get spoiled in a day or two. You want it to last for a long time. So then you ensure that you get the best of the materials, the best crystals or the best
Krishna
qualities.
must have the best.
Yeah, and it doesn't wear off, because a lot of times what happens is some of the beads, they chip off, the colors chip off and the paint chip off, or they look too plasticky. And
Yes.
I feel the whole darshan of the deity is then spoiled if you don't have each and everything perfectly placed. So
Because it is Krishna.
it is Krishna. We want to do it for the pleasure of Krishna.
That's interesting you bring up this point. I will open up a question to you and Kurma Prabhu, right? And maybe you both can weigh in on this point, because I've seen a lot of what is your input on people who definitely out of devotion, they put everything on their deity, all the love. The red, the green, the blue, the yellow, the pink, the soft, the velvet, the cotton, the silk, the jewelry, the pink, the gold, the silver, the lights of red. Krishna looks like he's got all the love in the world. And from the heart, it's definitely like, Krishna, let me give you everything. All the 25 garlands are all on him, versus this mindset where we're learning how to bring colors tastefully, and we have to restrict, and we need to pair the pinks with the reds and the blues with the purples. I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about.
And this is the problem, actually, when you're teaching art theory in the course. People come a little bit more critical-minded. And then when they come and take darshan and say, oh, but that's not right, and this is not right. And I tell them, look, you have to have a switch in your head. Switch off, okay, and take darshan of the deities. Because if you become too critical, you may make offense.
Exactly.
There's the whole story of Jagannath and the starch cloth,
Oh, I don't know that story, if you wouldn't mind.
Maybe you can give the story. Or maybe, no, you should give the story. Yeah, you can. Please,
Okay,
please
Prabhu,
give
you
the story of the
must. You
starch
must.
cloth. It's a nice story.
Yeah, there is the injunction like one should not give starch clothes to Krishna, and there are certain injunctions.
What does
out
that
there.
mean? Like freshly new cloth, it should be washed and given?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like starch is considered this is like dirty.
Oh,
You
really?
see, yeah, I mean starch is good for people because that it gives a good crease.
Good crease.
But yeah,
But for Krishna,
that's for
he
In any
wants his
case,
flow.
for Krishna, in any case, we use much more more fascinating clothes like silk, which are more costly. So starch is something for cotton, it's like very rudimentary kind of thing. So then you use that kind of thing, and then somebody pointed this out that you're using starch for Krishna, and this is not good.
this is in Mayapur or Jagannath
No,
Puri?
that's in Jagannath Puri.
In Jagannath
That's in
Puri, okay.
Jagannath Puri. There are so many other fascinating stories like that, and somebody comes up and gives a shastric injunction like that. But that which has been used for Krishna and with love from the deity, and if deity has accepted that, so then to point that out, or say for example, there are other examples where certain kind of threads may not be used for Jagannath. And there was this example then once this garland was offered, and people look for the garland, not the thread inside the
Yeah.
garland. It's just really nitpicking on that. And somebody, one of the pujaris, he refused to wear that, offered that to Krishna. And then he came in this at night in his dreams. It's like, how come that poor girl, she brought that garland?
Where's my garland?
Where's my that garland? Yeah, I'm looking
Where-
for that
where's
love.
my
Not,
garland?
I'm like, yeah. See, there is love, and within love there are rules. But when you're trying to find rules of love, so that's like.
It's a little bit of a balance.
Yeah, so it's not the other way around. There is Krishna consciousness and there are rules within Krishna consciousness, but you cannot find Krishna consciousness within.
To move on with our questions, but I found that quite a valuable lesson. What would you say to the audience?
Well, if I can say,
Sure.
that's why we have this school. We don't practice on Krishna, we practice on models.
Okay.
So when they come here, they get the knowledge, the necessary knowledge, skills, and values, how to make jewelry, or how to dress, or how to make how to worship them. So any mistakes or whatever encouragement they need, the school is there to kind of foster them in that respective area. And when they pass out from here, so they have that necessary, like you mentioned about the movement thing, which is still there intact in your mind years later, that why that was necessary. So the same, like when they go through a course where they have practiced over the models and got the feedback from the teachers and worked with their peers, so that gives them a very conducive environment and a very encouraging circumstance where they learn, and then they're able to implement that in their service, and it enhances in their devotional life.
And that's the begin, and then they take it more personally
Yeah.
when they go home. Thank you, Mata.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mataji, I remember that you said you also do Tulsi care.
Yes.
I will come back around to your experience in Tulsi care. I have an interesting question for you, but for now, thank you so much for your experience in sharing about jewelry making in the course. We'll come back around, but I would like to move to Bimala Prasad Prabhu. I believe, if I've understood my brief correctly, one of the courses that you teach at Mayapur Academy is brahminical ethics.
Yeah.
Now, we spoke a lot about Mayapur Academy having a skill set base. What does that mean with brahminical ethics? What is brahminical ethics? Sell me the pitch.
Well, yeah, that's actually the foundation of the course. Our Mayapur Academy, this 4-month diploma which we do. So that has everything to do with the foundation, which is the Brahminical culture and the ethics.
Is this like Sadachar? Vaishnava Sadachar? Bhakti
It
Sadachar?
includes that, but much more on the values,
On
or the values of a Brahmana, of a pujari, which is basically what people are looking for. See, when this course was designed, it also took into account the needs and whatever, like the needs of ISKCON as a whole, right? So we do have certain like Mayapur Academy has got their
Their
the
mandate
vision,
or
the
something like
vision,
that. Yes.
why we exist, the rationale for our existence. You see, so one of them was this, to have this quality training of pujaris in terms of the values. See, so far the skills are concerned, of course our course looks very colorful because we have got a lot of skill sets out there. Yes, but those skill sets you can, so far as India is concerned, you can just go down the alley and learn it in any temple. You can, like, with some variations, you can learn how to do these things and how to do that thing. But then after that comes the real thing. Why are we learning like what we are learning?
In what mood should we learn what we are learning?
So that's the purpose, like how to become Krishna conscious, how to imbibe those values which endears Krishna to us.
Okay. And this course is based on What is it based on? Like, where do you draw your knowledge from?
Of course, certainly, like all the foundation is always Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra.
Yeah.
But then it's actually one of those 3 weeks. This is one of the longest duration course, apart from the temple worship, which shows you the real archana, because it gives such value and weightage to this course. So after that, see, a pujari, like generally, how does this course came into being? It's like that might like give you some insight. So when we have got pujaris, and the general idea of that Prabhupada said that we don't want this 2 paisa, Brahman thread wearing pujaris having no values, doesn't know how to take care of Krishna. So not just how to take care of Krishna, why to take care of Krishna, and who is Krishna. So the brahminical aspect, without which it becomes more like a very just like this courses of a turban making, doesn't have the value of a brahmana or jewelry making. How is it any different from an artisan? You see, so it's just an artisan then. So that brahmana is when have these 26 qualities of the devotee. One of the standout feature of this course, as you said, like okay, fine for the pitch, is that of all the education systems I have seen, at least within ISKCON, forget the outside one, nobody teaches you how can you develop any of a quality of a brahmana. And I can put it as a challenge that in 3 weeks time, it gives you an idea how can you develop those qualities.
Interesting.
Yeah, like just pick anyone and we'll teach you.
Chanting Gayatri.
Okay. Okay, chanting Gayatri. Yeah.
That must be a brahminical quality.
Yeah.
We have a separate course of
That's
that.
a whole course on that.
Yeah, and he's the one
And
who's
you, and
teaching.
you have a Gayatri course as
Yeah,
well.
as well. That's another thing.
interesting.
It's like, that's of course a separate subject.
I'm
like,
just being joking.
yeah, but I'm quite serious. I'm picking up on that and I'm telling you that ISKCON right now, like for all like like our values, we have got large number of devotees set up who have struggled chanting Gayatri thrice a day.
It must be difficult. It must not be
It
very
is.
easy.
It's a fact, and like the sad state of it is like you don't discuss that because it's like too much on your honor, too much on your on your vows. But the fact of the matter is, everything requires training.
And good association to be able to discuss this healthily and positive. That's
Exactly.
part of the course as well.
Exactly.
That's very interesting. That's
Exactly.
very interesting.
So that's also part of that. Like actually, the Gayatri course branched out from this Brahminical culture and ethics and found a separate. We felt that it should be separately tackled and separately it should be taken care of. So coming back to the Brahminical culture and ethics, that is I would say one thing that you can take away and will never forget is how to develop equality.
So more of it. Srila Prabhupada did say, we are a Brahminical society. So I guess
Exactly.
that's very illuminating, actually. Thank you very much. I have a further question for you. I understand also that you are in charge of teaching, or you have certain seva delegated for the Bengali devotees.
Yeah.
And a question I would put to you is, what is that whole experience like? Is there any difference between teaching the English courses and the Bengali courses? What is the experience of the Bengali devotees who are more local and see things a little bit differently than how we teach it to the rest of us? Is there a difference? Is there anything you'd like to share on that point?
Yeah, that's quite interesting question actually. See, we developed this regional courses because our the vision was like language should not be a barrier for education. That's totally unacceptable. So then that's why we came up with Bangla course.
Okay.
We also came up with Hindi course. And the same diploma course, international course, is also run along with Russian translation also. That's also there.
And
it's going to Krishna.
Yes.
The kind of pujaris we are sending to the altar, that's the bottom line question. Many times you'll find it very interesting. Sometimes, like our teachers, they are faced with a challenge that can we pass this student or we can't. And the cardinal question would be, would 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 this devotee can this devotee be allowed to go on that altar and serve Radha Mother?
I'll fail.
That's the question. If we think that yes, he can go, he's a pass,
Hands down.
hands down.
Sincerity based.
Yeah. So
Fantastic. Fantastic, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Is there any, like what I asked from Kurma Prabhu and Haribalavi Mataji, is there any one tip or advice or any aspect that you would like to put out to our audience there who are listening and something that they can take away into their own homes? What would be a tip or a really golden nugget of knowledge that you would like to flick your way to the audience? What would you share? What would you summarize, something to take away?
go beyond this theoretical knowledge of Krishna being a person and use your body to serve Krishna, the deity form. Unless until you touch Krishna, unless until you touch a person, it's very difficult to make a tangible relationship with him.
What is the first step you would advise someone to go on that path?
Worship Krishna. Worship Krishna by learning to serve Krishna.
You just have to do it at
Yeah,
some point.
do it,
Less thinking, more
do
doing.
it. Yeah, just go ahead and do it.
Wonderful.
Don't
Thank you very much.
don't philosophize. Just go and do it.
Thank you. I will bring over discussion to our wonderful dean. I'm back again, Mata. So I do understand that you also teach courses, but you are, I guess, the mama bird of the academy.
No, we have Kurma Chaitanya Prabhu also. He has been the longest member.
I see.
Yeah.
What is it like? And I guess I want to get a little bit more into the background scenes of it all. What is it like managing all of this? How do you manage? What do you manage? Feel free to throw in any scandal or two for viewership. You know, what is it like operating the machinery of all of this? Staff and this and that and the other. Like, what go? Because I, as a student, I just show up and go, it's 3 p.m. It's time for my class. What effort goes into organizing all of this for the students?
First and foremost is the teaching faculties. They were all since they were previous students, so they know the kind of prerequisites of what is being required, and be it in terms of knowledge, skills, or values, what has been expected of being a teacher or a faculty or staff. So that makes it, I would say, much easier for.
Wonderful. And as the head or as one of the leaders of the academy, what is a day-to-day life like for you managing? What do you do?
I mean, each day is different, I would say, because because even if you look at our courses, it's not the same, it's like, as Prabhu was mentioned, it's colorful. There are many different units running. So each unit or each course requires a certain aspect or a kind of setting and setup and things like that, because it's quite different than how a theoretical class would run, because it's just with the teacher, like he or she prepares and they just come and give the class, and that's about it. But here it's not just about the teacher, because we need a practical setup, so it's just not ends up with the teacher. We need to have the assistant staff or assistant faculty to help set up the room or the classroom accordingly. So it really depends on what course we are running. So like, say, for the turban making or the dressing unit or the jewelry, we need to line up and set up it according to the students. And if some students just show up last moment, it's kind of very difficult for us to
Fail.
for us
I
to,
understand. Makes
you know,
sense.
yeah. So those kind of things, yeah. Yeah.
So I assume you deal with all. Do you deal with all supply for everything also? Like
That
that's
the teacher, sends us the
like
requirements,
a request, and then you
then we,
disperse it out.
yeah, then the admin team actually takes care of it.
Okay,
So-
that's and on top of all of this, you're also teaching.
Yeah.
What do you teach?
Temple worship
Okay,
on festival units,
interesting.
and
What does that mean?
like in ISKCON we have festivals. Every other day there's a festival. So it's a
So you're a
unit
very busy lady because every day is a festival around here. We had Gorpanim's in a festival for the past month.
Yeah, it's been 1 month long. So yeah, basically, what festivals mean and why do we celebrate, how do we celebrate, and what are the different aspects, and those things. And the most, I would say, fascinating part of a festival is Abhishek. So how to perform the Abhishek. So that's like the main aim for the students to learn, and all the students, they get to participate, they get to do the actual Mahabhishek process, like the full Mahabhishek. Yeah.
And do you teach them at what time to get the Charnamrita when it's still sweet?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I really want to learn that one because I usually get it in just water and ghee. You see, there's always something for everyone here. I wouldn't be a very helpful student, but that's wonderful. That's wonderful, Mataji. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. And I will circle back last to Hari Balavi Mataji before we open up the discussion and close off our interview here. One of the other courses that I heard that you teach is the Tulsi worship or Tulsi care.
Yes.
Is that? Do you want to tell me a little bit more about that?
So when we start with the Tulsi care, it is a lot of knowledge aspects like why we are worshipping Tulsi, her eternal identity and all that. And then we get on to practical aspect of it. And this year what we did is we gave each of the students their individual Tulsi to take care of. And the course was spread throughout 4 months. It wasn't like one unit you teach and you finish. It wasn't like that. It was spread over 4 months, and like they could see what problems they are coming up with while taking care of Tulsi Devi, and then we could address it at that time. Like the pot is small and the Tulsi has grown very big, then how to repot it, or there are some bugs coming in on Tulsi Devi, then how to address it, how to treat Tulsi Devi. So there were various aspects, and I thought that it was very hands-on learning for them.
Yeah, very. So, in my own perspective, I've often felt like with Tulsi care, it's so mystical. That's why I kind of wanted to just finalize it off for the students here. A palm. Somebody will look at your palm and say this line means the. Whether you're into palmistry or not, which I totally am. But there's certain lines that mean certain things, and if this mole is in this place, then it means that. So, do you feel that Tulsi worship and Tulsi care is a little like that? Because I've often felt that worshipping your Tulsi, being Tulsi Maharani herself, she's a direct reflection of your bhakti. If you're negligent with Krishna, you'll be negligent with your Tulsi, and Tulsi will reflect that exactly. Do you feel there's patterns to learn from just looking at Tulsi as a physical person and to take that into your own bhakti? Is that, or is that just something I'm making up in my head?
No, that is definitely what Prabhupada says, that that your spiritual life can be reflected on how well your Tulsi Devi is flourishing. So yes, that is definitely a
Good thing
aspect.
I have two in case something happens to one, I have the other one.
Yeah, that's not to discourage, like if your Tulsi dies and it's like, oh my God, my spiritual life is not good. Just plant in one more Tulsi and take care of it. But it definitely helps when you see Tulsi Devi as a person in your home and then treat her accordingly. You chant with her and you circumambulate her every day, you do Tulsi Aarti every day. You can see the results that she'll really flourish. Yes.
It's wonderful. Thank you so much for that. I just wanted to leave on that little point, Tulsi Devi ki jai. So I guess there's a lot, and these are just some of the courses that we've covered here from Mayapur Academy, right? I imagine there's quite a lot more. Would you care to list some of the other ones that you teach? I'll open up the floor for a open discussion here. What's left to learn in Mayapur Academy?
Well, we're just beginning to learn.
In the beginning.
Yeah. So, say, yeah, because generally, because it's a 16 weeks course, so which is like
All of them or some of them or
no, all of it put together when it's a diploma course. So it's a 16-week
what
course.
does that mean, diploma course?
Yeah. So this is Archana diploma. What we offer, because this Mayapur Academy it's affiliated to ISKCON Deity worship ministry.
I see.
So this is you see
Very
this,
high up there.
yeah, this is the state of the art actually. This
Okay.
is state of the art institution. We can safely say, I can Google it and you will, anybody can Google it and find it. Like you won't find it anywhere in the world. What to speak of ISKCON, or even outside any institution, any temple, any organization. Nobody has got this kind of structured program for how to worship the deities. I think a couple of fortnight ago we had this Mohan Bhagwat. He was there and he was there. I saw photographs. I think with Prabhu, yeah, and they came to see like such an institution. Like nobody can imagine that like here in West Bengal, in the Nadia district, all places, you
Well, it
have
should
got,
be here in Mayapur. I don't know where
Yeah.
else you're gonna get this kind of
yeah,
knowledge.
because like that's for us. That's
But
for us,
true,
the
yes.
Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Just take it from a layman's perspective. Of all places, it doesn't have. India has got so many big. Okay, why not in Jagannath Puri, say for example? Why not in Ayodhya? So you have all the places you have here because Prabhupada wanted it this way, and Jananivasa Prabhu put that thing like his dream, Prabhupada's instructions into
Manifestation.
manifested it with Jananivasa Prabhu and Pankaj Angri Prabhu, and it's running. And to be a pujari, like in the word, I'm just quoting Nashin Kavach Prabhu, Deity Worship Institute, to be a pujari in 16 weeks, it's really a bit of a task.
It's a hell of a deal. Good luck.
So then in this 16 weeks, almost 15 different subjects we cover. Of course, everybody doesn't have the same time span,
Yes,
but it's like the
a lot is
yeah,
covered.
yeah, 15 different subjects.
I understood that they do yagya there also.
Yeah,
They do yagya
that's like
worship.
it's yagya, samskaras. They have got mantras, then
You have cooking, you have cleaning,
cleaning.
you have
and that also includes practicum, where like the devotees, the students, directly go to that altar.
our main altar.
Yeah, main altar, and they do services there. They do go to the kitchen to do services there. They go to the altar to clean, to worship, to observe worship,
Fantastic.
everything. It's not like just limited to a classroom. And the day starts right like 4 a.m. And sometimes when they are doing like undergoing practice, they might reach their rooms at like 8:30 or 9. Yeah, it's like it's
It's
really
an intense course.
yeah, it's really not to be like they are out of their like since 4 in the morning they're out.
And then there's the teachers.
And of course, the teachers are also there, so then they have
I
their
won't
part.
be applying to be a teacher anytime soon. It's a tad bit early for my schedule.
Yeah, it's really tiring. It's really exhausting.
Fantastic.
But then because it has been designed like that, because the service of the
standard has to
pujari,
be high.
the service of the pujari is actually very laborious. So there are two fields in ISKCON. Nobody wants to like stick their neck into. One is this pujari department and as the kitchen department.
Ooh.
The laborious.
Like
It's
department.
laborious.
Yes.
So service to Krishna is not just that includes speaking for Krishna, but this other parts are also there. So this is the
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And speaking of that, the Kurma Prabhu, I assume you juggle your service to the temple and teaching as well. How is that for you?
I have my laptop. Multitask.
That's wonderful. Do you also teach like in the mornings, like Prabhu was saying? Do you take your little students, the little chickens, to the temple and back when you're dressing the deities, or is that exclusively?
No,
you?
I leave the chickens to the farmer.
And you just come in for the classes at Mayapur Academy?
Yeah, yeah.
That's great. Wow. What would you like to see being added as a course in Mayapur? At Mayapur Academy.
Being added as a course. Well, there there are still many things that need to be improved. Not improved, but the skills that devotees should have, like skills that I don't have. For example, like taking care of Krishna's hair. That is a very important skill. We have ladies that do that, but I think all püjäri should know how to curl the hair.
Otherwise, Krishna looks a little roughed
Yeah,
up.
yeah, exactly. Garland making is another skill that I know how to string, but these ladies, they go so fast, they can make a whole garland.
Detailed stuff too. I've seen beads in there.
And
Maybe that might be your department there
But we
too.
do have garland making. We
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
different teachers from
So-
the temple who come.
Even
next.
vases we have.
Of course, we have the dressmaking that goes on.
Yes.
Dress designing is. I used to do dress designing previously when we started with the dressmaking facility here in Mayapur. I don't know how they got me to do the dress designing, but somehow I did. I made the red cabbage dress, the blue fish dress.
Where was I? What's the
And
red
a few other
cabbage dress?
few other dresses before they finally got somebody who actually trained in dressmaking.
No, he made that lotus dress, which had
The
that
petal
was those
dress.
petal ones. that had
Revolution.
sequins.
It's like been
The
copied
purple
to
one?
all the temples.
Yes,
actually.
yes.
Yeah. That's
Anyway.
not red cabbage.
Yeah, but at that time I had no understanding of art or anything, so it's very, very difficult. That's why I really had to incorporate art into the turban making course, because with turban making you have two aspects. One is the spontaneous, which is kind of like ISKCON, where we want to do things spontaneously. So we don't want to be held back by tradition. So, Krishna wears a yellow dhoti and we put on a pink skirt.
Yeah.
So somehow or other we don't want to be held back by, certain traditions. And there seems to be a certain amount of flexibility there. And because of that, we have to facilitate for that flexibility. At the same time, there are traditions. So with certain temples, they have a certain way of putting on the turbans. If you go to Radharaman in Vrindavan, you'll recognize a Radharaman turban. It's a particular style of turban, and I'm sure that they train their püjäris in these styles. And if somebody came along and put like a waft of cloth and some butterflies or something in there, they would be out,
You're black and blue.
Exactly. So you have to create a balance between the two. So the tradition and the flexibility. In order to create that balance, you have to teach some rudimentary art. So that's there.
To give a structure to the thing.
And on top of that, you have to also balance it with the brahminical qualities. So then you have to take into consideration punctuality, cleanliness, being personal with Krishna. All of these things have to be incorporated. So it's not a simple, basket weaving course.
Which would be cool. I would like to learn that actually. I'm quite into like the semi-natural furnituring look. That would be kind of cool. Thank you very much for that. Mataji, do you want to weigh in on anything? Any reflections you'd like to share?
With Kurma Prabhu, I've seen that he's very conscious about trying to avoid pins. I know there was one discussion he was having where he wanted to have magnetic turban pieces so that you don't use pins.
No,
And
That
use
was Nishinagavacha. He was trying to get me into these magnetic turban pieces.
That's cool. Would that be a lot more difficult? Like, little magnetic clips?
We have to experiment with it, but I don't like experimenting with Krishna.
Sometimes keep it simple. Just don't poke him, and just be attentive.
Well,
A
Madhava,
pin has been used for thousands of years,
actually Madhava has a protective
Cap.
cap. But speaking about pins, I mean the Radharaman temple in Vrindavan, they don't even use any pins. Of course, the deities are much smaller, and it's much easier to hold up pieces when they don't have so much weight. But it would be nice. I mean, 500 years ago, how were they making turbans?
Yeah.
I'm sure they didn't.
See, 500 years from now, we'll be using tape and sticky glue and magnets. This is the wave of the future.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
I will end off. Well, now speaking of the future, I have one final question before we end off our little interview here. Looking forward, as Mayapur Academy is progressing, and with all of the courses and training that the teachers and the academy has in mind, how do you feel you would like to balance out this new social media way? Everything is digital now, Zoom and Skype and e-learning and online this, and how do you feel that Mayapur Academy is adjusting to reflect the students who probably can't reach here, but also like, how's Mayapur Academy planning for the way things are increasingly being digitized? And I will leave that as our last question. If all of you would like to weigh in, that would be great.
We do have online courses. We have been developing we ran actually online home worship, like a simplified worship, and it's almost ready now. It should maybe by end of this year, and it should be out. So we have online home worship, and we have like an online home deity dressing for small deities, small like 1 foot size deities, online home deity dressing that we ran like I think couple of maybe 2-3 times. So we started that during the COVID times. So yeah, and we are planning more courses for online for those who can't reach here, because our idea is to give them maximum content online as much as we can, and when they come here sometimes, then they can have the hands-on experience as well. But nevertheless, we still have actually planned a lot of online courses like online tulsi and online jewelry making course. So that's like our first in priority right now.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mataji, anything you'd like to say about the online world?
Yeah, I think we more opened up to the online thing after the pandemic, where everybody was into online courses. But for us, it was specifically difficult because, it's not like Bhakti Shastri that is just theoretical and you can teach. Like for turban making, you need to have the deity head in front of you and the cloth and the sponge and the turban pieces. And, only when you're making it hands-on, then you realize that you cannot actually pin the turban pieces. It looks so simple when he's showing it,
It's tricky.
but when you actually go to do it, then it's a completely different story. So because it's a hands-on course, that was one of the main challenges, but we are trying to work around it, and at least like with things that people can easily get it or are accessible to them, like with jewelry making, they can easily get threads and beads and try to make their own things. So we're planning in that direction.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Do you think this will appeal to the younger generation, being more online? What do you think, Prabhu?
Specifically, that reminded me one area we have some of worked up, like Harivalli Maji is into it. That's like children's deity worship for children's. Yeah, so that's something that really caught up the attention of children and parents, and that's one area online later on, because the next generation
Still to save your life.
yeah, they are tech savvy, and that's exactly fits in so to their needs and like what we can teach. So just marry that thing together. So we are already having on-site courses, children's deity worship, Harivalli Maji is handling that. Now just the next step is that to
Like how to offer prasada.
everything, like how to offer arti, everything. Yeah, and yeah, you got to see that it's just like it's so intense, it's so engaging, and at the end of the day, it's so devotional.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much. Prabhu, would you like to weigh in? Like a little news
Nishya
presenter.
Kavacha has been pushing me for this one, but I don't think that we can do accredited, turban making course or dressing course outside of the actual practical, doing the dressing and everything. But there is a theoretical aspect of art, which can be a course that could be online, and there are certain practical exercises that could be done.
Like as a knowledge base.
Yeah, so certain practical exercises could be done. You could actually, I've made turbans in Photoshop.
Really?
Yeah, I've photographed all the turban pieces and then cut them out, and then you move the turban pieces around, and you can actually make a full turban in Photoshop. So it is possible. It's a little bit clunky, and but it's not the same as actually,
Getting your hands
and making
on the real deal.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
I guess, yes.
I suppose, it might be possible that we could have kits that are sent out by courier, and then they receive a whole package. Where
Yeah.
But
Your little care box, a turban care box.
if every temple has so many, turban heads, but they need to practice on the deities as well.
At some point, you'd have to come to Krishna
You
and
can't-
actually learn. There's only so much Krishna can come to you, I guess. I speculate.
Exactly. So if Nishinga Kavat is hearing this,
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you all so much for your answers. I feel very illuminated. I hope our audience watching at any point in the future after this episode or interview would also feel inspired to come to Mayapur Academy, sign up for one of the courses. I see a lot of people coming for the festivals. It's a great time to learn something. You're here for a month or a week or a day. Sign up for a course, join in, which leads me to a little bit of housekeeping questions. If any one of our audience wanted to reach out to Mayapur Academy, is there a website that they can go to? Where do they go?
Yeah, it's www.mayapuracademy.org.
Okay, mayapuracademy.org.
And we have both Facebook and Instagram page, so they can
Okay.
follow us.
Well, nobody uses Facebook anymore. But Instagram, I'm joking. Facebook,
Maybe
Instagram.
oldies like us do use
Yeah.
Facebook.
I had a friend saying, "Oh, I was trying to call you on Facebook." I said, Facebook? No, I don't use Facebook. So yes, you can find Mayapur Academy and all the details of the courses on mayapuracademy.org. Any other access information? I heard that this just came to me now. That people who watch this interview will get 50% off on all the courses. Is that the fact, or there'll be special discounts for the host?
Where do you get the information
I
from?
think Paramatma just told me.
we have shortened courses for them.
Very short. Thank you all very much. Thank you all for putting up with me as well as a very silly host. I thank the audience for your time in watching this interview. Please make sure, and I know it sounds very something you hear all the time, but please do like, subscribe, and share this channel with everyone around you who may be interested in learning about these courses or just Mayapur in general. We do thank Mayapur TV for letting us use their studio for the production of this interview. And if there's any other questions that you would like to put, please put them in the comments below or directly reach out via the website. So thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.